Hey guys, this is Jay Calder of JAYONBOXING here giving you a personal prediction for Naoya Inoue versus Nery. And as always, this is just my take. Of course, your predictions can be left down in the comments section below. Would love to hear them all. But of course, before we get started, please like, subscribe, all that stuff. Love seeing you guys subscribe, seeing that number go up. It's a fun feeling, so definitely do appreciate it. And a little bit of fight info here. As mentioned, we have Inoue taking on Nery. This will be at the Tokyo Dome in, you guessed it, Tokyo, Japan. This will be airing on ESPN in the States in the junior featherweight division, with Inoue's Ring magazine as well as IBF, WBA, WBC, and WBO junior featherweight titles on the line. Well, in some ways, Inoue versus Nery is effectively a coming home or celebration fight, a coming out party for Inoue. Granted, he's been fighting mostly in Japan anyway, and has been in some pretty big coming-out fights to begin with. But he's been in with the best opponents that he can find at whatever weight he campaigns, and unifying the division. It's been real busy, solid work. True, in front of thousands of people as mentioned, but now he has his dome show to celebrate all of that success. Against a maybe past his best Nery, sure, but still, Inoue is looking to put forth a giant performance suited for a location like the Tokyo Dome. However, keeping it interesting is that Inoue can be tagged. Nery can crack a bit, and the big fights on the biggest stages can always produce some rather surprising results. I mean, ask Haney and Garcia about that for that matter. That said, does Inoue keep rolling and make that celebratory, I'm coming out as the best fighter in the world kind of performance, or will Nery really revive his career by upsetting the pound-for-pound king and undisputed 122-pound titleist? Let's break this fight down and find out. Starting off with the champion here, for Inoue to win, you want to use the left hook, right hand. Now, in my opinion, the best combination in boxing might be Inoue's left hook, right hand combination. And against a sometimes aggressive southpaw, it's definitely going to be effective. Now, the right hand is obviously known as that kind of lefty killer, and it can be. Inoue has a great straight right hand, obviously, especially with the power and speed he possesses. But the left hook is an underrated component to setting that shot up. Obviously, it can be used as a jab to kind of blind Nery, but turning it over as a left hook, that left hand can really push Nery to your right side and make all the sense in the world for then landing that right hand. It also helps control the sometimes aggressive Nery and also allows you to have options for how that right hand is going to be set up, which again is important. The left hook can also help keep Nery from trying to circle away to that side. It makes him think. That creates those moments where he backs straight up and allows you to punch with power in full extension with those much straighter shots, particularly that right hand. And if he does circle into your right hand, all the better. But those two shots really work in tandem to help connect well and consistently on a southpaw. Definitely put them together here, and I think you'll have some success, especially with how well you throw them. I would also say switch up your speed. Inoue is a fairly complete fighter. Sure, he can be open a little bit for his shots when he gets a bit too aggressive and attacking-minded. However, otherwise, it's tough to nitpick. One area where you might find a flaw, he doesn't always vary up his speed or pace on his shots. He has so much power and so much speed, he tries to get it into every single shot he throws. At times, I think Inoue could benefit, in my humble opinion, from varying the speed and power of his shots to get them home with more consistency. Mix it up so Nery isn't sure what he's exactly trying to avoid, in other words. Of course, your bread and butter is speed and power. This isn't to say abandon it. It's to say that it can be more effective when switched up and thrown at more irregular times to keep Nery guessing. When you're having a hard time landing because Nery shells up, just hit him. Doesn't have to be everything on it. When he is open up a bit more, then you can bang in those harder shots and make them really count. You don't tire yourself out this way either. This can be done to the body as well. And as you throw a bit slower, you can make that shot selection and the accuracy work even better, and even soften him up with those touches and have more effect down the stretch. As the rounds progress, the speedier, harder stuff will still be there, and you can really punish Nery with it by that point. And finally, don't force the finish. You're not someone that rushes your work too much. You're willing to take your time. That said, you are a fighter that wants to score the knockdown. Commendable, but it has to be done smart. If you can tag Nery and get that right hand home and make it stick, he's going to look to retaliate. It's in his nature. So you don't have to force matters, just show that patience and counter when he's trying to get his get back. This is important for you, especially as you fight at 122 pounds now and potentially higher. Your power has seemingly carried, but the power gets trickier the higher you go in terms of what you're going to be hit with. That's Nery's chance, so don't give it to him. Granted, Luis isn't likely his best at 122 pounds in my opinion, and his power has dipped at the weight as well, but again, that's his chance. Limit those sort of chances that you're going to give him. That's got to be the goal here. Use your angles and movement to close him down and cut off his exits. Land that left hook, right hand combination, and vary the speed, and you'll have some success with it. Especially on the big stage in that Tokyo Dome, you don't want to get overzealous trying to look for something that might just come to you anyway if you're patient. So again, wait for those opportunities, strike when it makes a lot of sense, and you'll get them out of there. Now, switching over to the challenger, for Nery to win, you want to throw the jab responsibly. The jab will need to be in place for Nery to be successful. It just has to be. However, he has to throw it smart. It can't just be flung out there with him hoping for the best. You need to throw that jab with some quickness, and do so by trying to get under Inoue's at times while he's throwing it. Throw it a bit of an up jab if you need to, and get that kind of angle on it as well to get it home. You also have slightly shorter arms, so doubling that jab, if you find you're in the right position and at the right angle, will allow you to blind him, then get inside a bit better so you can get to work. What you don't want to do is just throw it and leave it hanging out there. Don't throw it and allow Inoue to get that quick read and make you pay for it with a counter. It can be a lazy jab at times, where it's thrown more as a kind of rangefinder or simply to stay busy because you're looking to throw. You can't do that. You have to get the jab going with some conviction and with some purpose behind it. And again, quick and to the point. That jab should be thrown to time Inoue when he's coming in, when you're trying to close range yourself, or when you're setting up real work with purpose. Anything else should be considered too risky. So throw that jab correctly, mind your defense as you're throwing it, and have a reason for putting it out there. You get it going well, and it certainly improves your chances. I would also say use the left in close. Now, as mentioned, that jab should be in part used to get closer. And once you're there, you need to work. You can't let Inoue just move and out-angle you before he unloads. You have to get to work. The shot I think you can get going best inside is that left hand. Naturally, as a southpaw, the left hand is going to need to be successful, but in close in particular, it can definitely be a focal point. With the shorter arms, you have the best chance of, when inside, getting those big blows off with more extension on them, more snap on them, more whip on them, especially if you're pressing him back and smothering some of his work once you're finished. That left is a great shot as well because if you're able to get on the outside of his lead foot, it lines your punch up well and might catch him coming in and get that double impact going. That left to the body should also be prioritized. You throw it well, and Inoue can be hit to the body at times, especially when he's more focused on upper body movement or trying to land himself. That body attack can slow him down a bit, can tire him out, sap some power, and maybe make him stand and trade. Granted, there's danger in that as well, but it's much better than letting him stay on the outside, box and move, and then snipe you from the outside. No success there for you. So get in close with that jab and duck under his work, get that left going, and be sure to tax the body. And finally, remember your defense. Now, let's not kid ourselves. Nery isn't a defensive wizard. I'm not expecting him to get in there and Willie pep it up and bob and weave and completely dazzle Inoue. Not going to happen. However, Inoue is too dangerous for Nery to just rush in and abandon every kind of defense himself. He has to at least be mindful of protecting himself against the hard-hitting Naoya. That can be simple stuff in many ways. Keep your hands up a bit higher, chin tucked. Stuff that should be common for the most part. But it also means breaking habits like squaring yourself up when coming forward. At times you get so intent on landing, and especially if your opponent just landed himself, that you march in far too square and are definitely caught by shots you shouldn't be caught with. Against Inoue, that will definitely get you caught. Be a bit more patient than that. Instead, come in behind that jab as mentioned. Cover up when you're doing it in that kind of perfect range for Inoue. Inside of that, then you get more of that dirty work done and again can start letting your hands go a bit more. Also, of course, stay off the ropes when possible. You aren't going to be ducking and slipping much there, and it simply gives you less offensive options. So move when you aren't coming in to the sides, under his shots, and when you do try to get inside, use that up jab, level change, and work that left hand from your range to have some success. And in terms of my pick here, well, while the keys are all good and fine, the pick here is an obvious one for me, and that's Naoya Inoue. And I don't necessarily think it'll be close. I think Nery is past his best, and I think Inoue is entering his prime, which is a bad combination for Nery. And he's also running hot as Inoue, and I think he's going to continue in this fight pretty much from the opening round on. Nery might try to fight back in those opening frames, but I think he's dropped by the faster hands, probably by surprise, especially the right down the middle, and probably never fights his way back into the fight. Eventually, the beating he's taking is enough, and the fight is stopped in between rounds. I'm tempted to say Inoue stops him early, but I'll be slightly more conservative in my approach and say Inoue takes a bit longer. In any event, winner, Naoya Inoue, via mid-fight stoppage. And the betting odds here you can see on the screen, Inoue is a massive favorite, coming in at a minus 1,300, with Nery coming in at a plus 820. The over-under here you can see is set at 6.5, with minus 115 for both the over and the under. The line to stay away from is Inoue. Straight up, just no real value, no good, no need to even think about it. If you're into the long shot and one that can maybe crack a little bit, Nery might be your guy. I mean, bigger upsets have happened at the Tokyo Dome, to be fair. The line, however, that I think seems like the best value and could actually happen is the over-under, and I actually like the under. I really think this fight could end early, and I can see the basically even odds attracting me for that reason. Again, not a slam dunk, it's pretty much a straight-up bet there, but the under does seem pretty attractive. In any event, those are your odds. And my prediction record as of this recording is 26-9 with 13 exact, but let me know your thoughts, your bets, your picks, all that good stuff down in the comments. And of course, please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow, check out all the social media here, and be sure to visit JAYONBOXING.com for schedule, results, betting odds, grades, rankings, and more. And as always, until next time.